Welcome back. This should be the last tutorial in the unique or special characters chapter. As soon as we're done with this, particular tutorial, we will move on to other things. So now we're gonna deal with a bit of logic. One of the first thing, you have these characters, the two of them, which represent the logical OR and logical AND. And you can combine a few smaller conditions into one main condition, so to say. Let me just demonstrate this with an if statement. So for example, if I have if like this, if I go ahead and open up a bracket, just need some variable var equals 1, and then I shall say here var is greater than, 0, okay? But what if I want to implement additional conditions here, which will form the main condition? So, hey, why not use the logical OR? This is the logical OR. So same like pipe, what I've mentioned before, but instead of having one, you have two of them. That's all. Now, we move on to the next condition that we're going to set. We shall say var, $var, and it shall be equal, so dash eq to, let's say 10. And then echo then part, or one or both conditions are met, or one or both conditions are true. Let's put it like this. And then else echo neither one of the conditions is true, or both conditions are false. Finish. Excellent. So sorry for the delay there, just had to write it down and use my infinite imagination to come up with these sentences. But we have one condition, and I am obviously observing them as two separate conditions in these echo statements that I'm making. But in fact, they're not. So this entire line, this is one condition, one simple condition. Why? Well, either this can be true or, so this can be true or this can be true for this entire condition, for this entire statement to be evaluated as true and for this piece of code to execute. Only in the case that both of them are false will this bottom case be executed. So variable is 1. Obviously that's greater than 0. Is it equal to 10? No, doesn't matter, because one of these conditions has been satisfied. Therefore, this entire statement will be evaluated as true, and this part of the code will be executed. Let me just show it to you. Echo. Actually, I don't need anything else. I can just write it and run the script down below. It says one or both conditions are true. But if we alter this, let's say 0 here, keyword, it says greater than 0. Both conditions are false. So if only the case that both of them are false will this statement be printed out. Now there is another thing which we can do, and that is the logical AND. Let me show it here. It goes like this. and percent sign and percent sign. And now both of these conditions need to be true. Both of them need to be true in order for this statement to run. Here, let me just show you. If only one of them is true, you see both conditions are false. Still, this will run and it's not going to happen. So both of these need to be satisfied. So if you have more than one condition, you just tie them up with and. If you want them all satisfied, or if you just want one of them satisfied, you use or. Later on, we will be using these in a more extensive manner, most likely in the later stages when we use more complex scripts. They will come quite in handy, as this is something that is relatively frequently used and it has immediate practical application. Excellent. So our next character is a dash, so a minus sign, like this, you see, but just one. And this is used to denote optional prefix. Look, if I do this, right quit, and if I type in ls-h. Oops, won't work like that for ls. But what else do I have? cd-h. Will it work for cd? Yep, nope, it won't work for cd either. But ls-help will definitely work. I'm just trying. You usually have these formats. So you type in a command and then you type --help, or you can just type in -h for some commands, and for some others you need --help, which is a little bit inconvenient sometimes. -h. Excellent. So you see, this can be. This is an option that is used in a command. You see, but it doesn't necessarily need to be with help. It can be with something else. So, for example, if I type in ls-l, so you see, we're still using the dash, and it's useful in order to actually in order to give arguments to a function, and then that function can behave based upon what we have what we have actually passed to it. What sort of arguments have we passed to it? Okay, so we have seen this previously. I mean, I've placed it in front of GT greater than and LT lesser than and EQ equal. It was always dash EQ dash LT dash GT, and so on and so forth. So, but when used with, you can also use it for redirection from standard input to standard output and vice versa. So if we type in something like this, cat, nothing there, because we are basically redirecting nothing to nothing. Nothing should happen. I mean, this is just going to spin around for a while, but no big deal. I shall give you some. I'll give you some practical examples, but this can come quite in handy, primarily because it all depends on how you use it. So it can be used in order to basically access the arguments of a certain command. It can be used for standard input and output redirections. I will show you this through the scripts later on. And it can also be used as a minus sign. So it all depends from the context in which it is used. Now the next characters that we have, I'm pretty sure that you're familiar with them. You have plus, you have minus, plus, where is it? Frustrating. Yep, there we go. You have modulus. And of course you have division. So these are all some sort of operations that are conducted. Anyway, the only one that you're not familiar with here, so this is minus, this is plus, this is division. Well, it's too bold of me to say that you're not familiar with it, too stupid of me to say it like that, but that might prove something that you haven't encountered before, but I'm sure that you have seen it in school or something like that. Perhaps it is not denoted in this fashion. Well, it's definitely not denoted in this fashion, but here, let me just show it to you. So, this is modulus. Look it up on the net if you like. If not, listen to how I explain it, although I am by no means a mathematician. Var will be set to be the remainder of the division between two numbers. And this percentage sign is a modulus and represents the remainder of a division. So, if we were to divide 5 by 4, and we won't use this, we will use let var. So, if we were to divide 5 by 4, what would be the remainder? Well, obviously 1, because 4 goes into 5 once. 1 times 4 is 4, and we have 1 till we reach 5. So 1 is the remainder in this case. And how would we write that? Well, we would just use our sign and then 4. And then we shall echo var. There we go. So write 1. There you go. That's the modulus. So no big deal there. Fairly simple and easy to understand. Now, the next character is tilde, or home directory. So this is basically a shortcut that is used to switch to the home directory of the current user. And I am in my home directory, but I shall go backwards. And instead of typing this home chronic and going there, I can just type in cd tilde pwd, and there you go. I am in home chronic immediately. So cd space tilde will always take you to the home directory of the current user, which is quite in handy because it saves you quite a bit of typing. And if we were to, for example, you can also use these commands. Well, I can't use it with cd, but you can type it like this: echo, and we shall place tilde and plus. You see, this is the tilde plus is the current working directory as well, and that's going to echo out the current working directory. And if you use tilde and minus, that is the previous one. You see, the previous directory that we have used. And okay, we won't need any others. I'm just trying to think of, do we need anything else? Well, do you remember how we did conversions to lowercase letters? Well, let's just do the conversion to the uppercase letters and let that be the end of it. The rest we shall do along with the script, because I really don't want to burden you too much with fragmented content not being shown together with the script. But I mean, I really had to do it, otherwise you wouldn't understand anything in the script. It would be too confusing. Next character is the caret symbol. Oops, asterisk. Nope. There we go. So on my keyboard it's Shift 6. Anyway, this is used in uppercase conversion. So let's go ahead and take a look. It functions pretty much as the lowercase conversion. I really don't see anything that much different from it. VIM first. So this should be fairly simple. Works pretty much in the same fashion. If we type in some word, and if we set it equal to test, I don't know, let's just leave it at this, and then we can type in echo space $, curly brackets, some word, and as before, if we just type in oops. If we just type in 1, it will convert the first character to uppercase. Here, let me just show it to you. Yep, there we go. So the first character has been converted to uppercase. But if we just alter it a little bit and add another one, see that now everything is in uppercase. Fairly simple to use, no big deal there. So in this chapter, well, in this subchapter, we have seen the special characters that are used in Bash scripting language. And we have seen the purpose of each. So we have seen what they do. If you didn't catch them all, you can of course rewatch the tutorial. But you know, as we utilize some of the scripts, as we go through some of the other subjects, I will repeat periodically some of them, so that will settle well in your memory.